Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Tuesday, June 20th, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We saw upward expansion out of the narrow range in the previous session. We've been talking about the previous month's close, previous month's high, all being bid, and on the opposite end up here on the 43s, it had been offered. And until recently, we'd stayed inside that range. But of course, anytime you have a narrow range like that, there's a tendency to see expansion at some point and a continuation. So right now, we're seeing that upside break and a hold at the moment. Very difficult to just get long at the highs here. And typically speaking, I favor looking for pullbacks and then a continuation. But right now, we're looking to see if price can continue to hold above the 24.43 halves. Any failure to hold above 43 half would suggest a pullback toward 24s, maybe even as low as 18, 17 again, and that could offer another opportunity for bulls to come in and squeeze yet again. So right now, look for further strength in the near term above 43 half. Failure to hold 43 half could rotate this thing back toward 24s. If we take a look here at the NQ in the higher time frame, what you'll notice here is that price has been trending higher. Every major pullback has been an opportunity to see another advance in prices here. And recently, we've seen price pull back significantly and then hold right on the 56.39 level, which is the midpoint of this impulse move. And so far, you can see here a narrow range that has developed over the last week plus. And these late sellers here could see their stops run, and we could see another squeeze yet again. That key level again is going to be 5,800. That's the big zone to watch. Before, we were looking for bears to defend 5,800 for a shot at pushing this thing back toward 5,550. Price got within 11 handles of that 5,800 and dropped, but failed to really push through that recent low. That has sparked another return trip higher. So this failure here could suggest that we may be just around the corner from a squeeze if prices can push above 5,800. So right now 5,800 is the key pivot. Bears still trying to keep it offered and keep these late bulls trapped. Bulls want to squeeze above it. So keep an eye on 5,800 as the major pivot moving forward. Taking a look at crude oil, we were looking in the previous session here for a sign that perhaps 45.20 would be rejected. What I mentioned was we had two-day highs here, and prices were already showing signs of rejection above 45.20 during pre-market trading. The expectation was that if price could not establish acceptance above 45.20, we'd be looking for selling pressure into the 43s and likely into this 43.75 target. That target was reached in overnight trading, and now we've put in lows near 43.20. So I mean, this has been a very, very nice continuation. 38 rather is the low as we continue toward that 43.20. So right now, very nice continuation after the rejection of 45.20. We're now testing the lower edge of the range and prices beyond it. And now we're getting into a point here where we can finally begin to look for signs of rejection. If you notice over the last many months here, since last August, every time price has gotten into about the 42, 43s, it's been an opportunity to see a big squeeze. And we're coming into that zone yet again. We'll look for signs of rejection. Should we see rejection, that'll be an opportunity to begin to work it back toward value. But until that occurs, we're still in a downward price discovery phase. We got to continue to watch for signs of rejection. Until that occurs, we got to be looking to defend pullbacks. If we drop into the intraday time frame, 43.75, 43.80 is going to be very important today. You'll notice how price dropped significantly here in overnight trading and found a low at 43.48. All pullbacks here into 43.75 so far being defended, and you have a nice little range. So above 43.75 could offer a short-term squeeze back to value, a VPOC, or rather VWAP at 44s, and then perhaps up toward the previous week's close at 44.32. So right now, it's basically a downward price discovery phase. Unless price pushes up above 43.75, then we could see a short-term bounce back toward 44.32. Lastly, Taking a look here at gold futures in the higher time frame. What you'll notice about gold, we continue to push downward. Here it is. We've continued to push downward, especially after rejecting the recent high up here, and that was part of our plan. I mentioned as soon as price gets into 1298 to 1300, it's time to start watching for signs of rejection. And I'll be honest, this was a much swifter rejection than I expected. Price only got a few ticks beyond this high and immediately dropped back toward our primary target, which was 59 to 60, 1259, 1260, it's composite VPOC. The expectation is if you do return back to value, that's not as low as you go. You typically go through value as well, find some sort of rejection, and perhaps start your way back up. So right now, this is still in a downward price discovery phase. Pullbacks are to be defended for a likely continuation back toward 1229, 1230. So we're still looking at downward price discovery unless price can bounce back above 1250 in the short term. But even then, overall direction is still down. So if you look at this thing in an intraday time frame, prices have been trending lower. We have weekly VWAP sitting here at 1249.70, 1250 as the FOMC key level from May 3rd. So a push above this zone would target 1256, but overall any pullbacks right now likely a selling opportunity for continuation toward those 1230s. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.